Hello everyone and welcome to video 5 in a series on the Ocean County Historical Society's newly renovated Birdsall Room. The focus in this video is on the natural resources of the Pinelands and Pinelands-related industry in Ocean County. This video will actually show some photos from the Birdsall Room and our industry room, which is on the ground level of the museum off of the research room. These videos, created by our volunteers in the summer of 2020, are meant to give you a feel for the expansive exhibit on the lower level of our museum. We do hope that you will visit us in person when possible to see the full exhibit. Please always be sure to check our website, www.oceancountyhistory.org, for information prior to visiting. The Pine Barrens of New Jersey, also known as the Pinelands, cover approximately 3.1 million acres in the southern portion of the state. This is one of the largest wilderness areas on the East Coast, larger than the Blue Ridge Mountains National Park and larger than the Smoky Mountain National Park. Here, on the left, you can see an exhibit panel from the Birdsall Room talking about the Pinelands. You'll have to visit us to read the whole thing. The panel is mounted to a wall of Jersey cedar. On the right, you can see a map from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection outlining the area we are talking about. Interestingly, the Pinelands are not virgin woodlands. This forested area has been totally cut and reforested a number of times since the colonial period. This is a photo from our industry room talking about woodworking and boat building. The Pine Barrens were originally considered barren because they would not support traditional agricultural methods employed by the settlers and later the colonists. The soil is acidic, sandy, and nutrient poor. Yet it supports a predominantly pitch pine forest containing also white cedar, oaks, maples, and assorted other varieties. There is a rich collection of understory plants, and this makes the Pinelands a very unique area that has been recognized both nationally and internationally. For example, in 1978, the U.S. government established the New Jersey Pinelands National Reserve. It was the first reserve created in the United States. The goal of the reserve was to manage and preserve this area. Approximately 10 years later, the United Nations designated the Pinelands an international biosphere reserve. Botanically, the Pinelands are considered special because there are plants found here that are typically found in the southern Appalachians, such as turkeybeard, and other plants that are normally found in the Canadian Maritimes, such as curlygrass fern and Broom's crowberry. There are pygmy pitch pines that have established their own forested areas. These trees are shorter and smaller in width than regular pitch pines. These are usually found in areas that tend to be burned more frequently. Pitch pines are fire adapted with thick bark and cones that will only release their seeds after exposure to the heat of a forest fire. The Pinelands are also noteworthy because of the extensive water supply found beneath its porous, sandy soil. There are estimated to be 17 trillion gallons in the aquifer system, shown here. This supply of water has made this very desirable real estate, and at one time, Philadelphia was very interested in acquiring it. The Pinelands have historically been exploited for their resources. In colonial times, mature trees, particularly white cedar and oak, were harvested for shipbuilding. Here you can see a model ship from our industry room. Trees were also cut for building houses, barns, and such. Bog iron was prevalent and found in sandstone. Furnaces were established in the pines, and further up the coast in cannons, cannonballs, and ironware were manufactured into the early 19th century. The industry eventually ceased flourishing in the 1800s when Pennsylvania found ample coal reserves and iron ore, and they replaced New Jersey's iron with a higher grade of iron. Here you can see a glimpse of the section of the industry room dedicated to bog iron. Glassware was also manufactured in the Pinelands, and remnants of that industry can be found in Wheaton Arts in Millville, New Jersey. Here are some glassware from our industry room. Charcoal making was also a business that continued for hundreds of years. Many forest fires began from these efforts. The last charcoal making took place in the 20th century. Moss gathering was a cottage industry. The moss was used during the Civil War, Spanish-American War, and World War I as a dressing for wounds. Its acidic nature apparently helped resist infections. Moss was also sold to florists to use with their plants and cut flowers. Pineys, as local Pinelands residents are sometimes called, also collected pine cones and other greenery for sale to the Philadelphia florists to be used for Christmas arrangements. Two time-tested activities that still persist today in the pines, the cultivation of blueberries and cranberries. Here, again, are some more images from our industry room. Ocean County is fortunate to include within its boundaries portions of the Pinelands which are accessible and extremely rich in natural beauty. We hope you enjoyed this brief peek at our Birdsall Room exhibit with some bonus images of our industry room. We encourage you to watch the other videos in this series and, even better, to visit when you can. Remember to always be sure to visit our website or call for our latest availability.